Again, we are doing Telos. Today we're going to be hearing from the Blue Dragon. Like I say, the integration is so important and really understanding, because these things will take you deeper and deeper and deeper if you start integrating it. And this is, like I say, from the fifth dimension. So in our 3D reality, like I say, there's things we understand, but there's this big gap, because here's the 3D and here's the 5D. And the 5D is up here. In 3D, we have all this known knowledge, but we don't have that connection from here to here. It's like a lot of people don't know about the 8th, ninth, 10th chakra. When people tell me they know chakras and that, I'm like, you really don't know. I try to make them understand, and I tell them about the front chakras, the back chakras. I tell them about the chakras that go higher and higher and higher. And in the keys, or one of these books, talked about the 7 chakras out here and how they're connected to galaxies and stars and other things, and it's like acupuncture and other things, how these connect with us, and there's these beings constantly trying to send us subtle messages and things. So this next part 2 is very interesting, and its messages for humanity in the transformation is the Messages for Enlightenment of the Humanity of Transformation on book 2. So it's going to give you lots of knowledge. Like I say, there's Saint Germain and lots of other things in this book. So I'm going to start reading, and at some point I will take a break, and Cindy can come and share some wisdom and some of her bigger ahas. Hey, Argo. So I'm going to really just start reading now. And this one is Dreaming a New Dream for the Planet, chapter 1. Once again, warm greetings from my heart to your heart. It is my pleasure to talk with you once more. The topic you have chosen at this time is particularly precious to my heart. I would really like to emphasize to all our readers how important it is that everyone, especially the light workers on this planet, start creating very consciously in their heart and soul the vision of the new world they want to live in and participate. Like people say, oh yeah, I'm going into fifth dimension. I'm like, but what are you going into? Hey, Miranda, and you have to create this. And here it's trying to say, create this in your heart. And like I say, slowly, like try to let stuff come in and then carry that inside you, holding it for the world. So start creating very consciously in your heart and soul a vision of the new world that you want to live in and participate in. If it is your heart's desire to transcend the drudgery of the present day life conditions on the surface and move to an enlightened, blissful way of life, it is now that you have to let go of the old paradigm that has kept you in bondage and pain for so long. For a lot of us, we're trying to fight our way out of that. We're trying to open up and really let this bigness in. Hey, being Moy. Thanks for all joining today. I just started into the book on chapter 1, and talking about trying to bring in this vision of what we believe the future to be and what we're creating in that and carry it in our hearts. You've all heard the old term, without vision the people perish. This old adage is so relevant and timely at this crossroads that humanity and planet are experiencing at this very moment. In Telos and other subterranean cities, we have kept the vision of the new world on your behalf for a very long time. Please understand we simply cannot do it all for you. By divine law, people living on the surface have to do their part. It is time for you to start dreaming it every day, very consciously, and to choose it in all your aspirations, thoughts, feelings, and desires. At the beginning of the last century, through much determination and dedication, the beloved Master Saint Germain applied to the Godhead of the Galactic Federation of Light for a mighty dispensation. He asked for the flame of freedom to be released once more on the earth. After much deliberation and many meetings with various councils of the Godhead, the Galactic Federation of your solar system, and several planetary councils, the permission was finally granted. Freedom is one of the many attributes of the violet flame of transmutation. That's why at night you gotta want to go to this temple in this violet flame where they can help you to clean up and do all kinds of stuff and download information into your heart and your body and things you're going to carry that you're going to manifest in this world in reality. And you have to work with these higher beings. So this violet flame of transmutation is really, really important at night to ask to go there to, like I say, do all these things. Without the return of the flame to the surface, there would be no way for humanity to freely choose to evolve from the present state. Until that time, the flame of freedom and all the knowledge and wisdom that comes with it had been removed from the surface population for a very long time. This loss of freedom allowed the limitations you experienced during your incarnation. The loss of the flame has been one of the major contributors to suffering experiences by mankind. Because of the karma of the people and the past abuse of the sacred flame, it was withdrawn from the surface at the time of the final sinking of Atlantis. In your heart, I ask you to feel the love of Saint Germain as for humanity and open yourself in gratitude for this tireless dedication and service to all of you. In order to secure this dispensation for humanity, he had to lay down the energy of his attainment and the pearls of glory of his crown to the Godhead as a security deposit in the event that humanity would misuse his flame again. He loved you all so very much that he has been willing to take the risk. It says here, it remains your job to create the new dream read it again. It remains your job to create the new dream. What will you create? And this is where we got to start opening up to what is the fifth dimension? What is the new world? The children are dreaming this now, but a lot of other people aren't. Play your part, dear ones, by actively dreaming a new dream for the planet. Envision the type of a society you want to live in. Now that the torch of freedom is released, it is your responsibility and your choice to create new worlds you want to inhabit. Start dreaming your visions of heaven on earth and how you would like to see them manifest. Be specific. Do not hesitate to include all the wondrous details. You are all co-creator gods. The earth is now moving forwards to a brand new dimension. A new world is being created for you, if you will choose it, but it is not yet fully structured or totally defined. It is awaiting your creative contribution. Everyone will have the slightest different perceptions. As you all start dreaming these dreams, the energies will blend together and create a wonderful new reality on your planet. And that's where you got to ask for these downloads and these new things to come in. You have to go to this violet temple and things to get cleansed so you can bring in more and more stuff to help yourself, the earth, and the future. Everyone will have the slightest different perception. As you all start dreaming these dreams, the energies will blend together to create a wonderful new reality on your planet. And the children are doing this. But there's, like I say, a lot of people that are not. It is important that you don't leave this task to the beings of the light realm and to us in Telos exclusively. We have already created our world of paradise and we live in it. It is now your opportunity to create the world of your dreams. Your participation as co-creators is the utmost importance. Unless you do this, you cannot be considered in your full mastery, and you will continue to experience limitations in your life. And that's where we got to become God. We have to become Jesus. We have to become all these masters. And they're trying to get us to step in that and do this. In your meditation and your writings, we are asking you to spend some time every day defining your perceptions of heaven on earth. Figure out what it means to you to start dreaming it. Dream of a new earth at night as you fall asleep. Dream about a new earth during your waking hours as well. Imagination is the creative spark that will fuel your manifestation. It connects you with the realms of creation, a fluid reality. The more details you include in your dream, the more your dream will come to life. Be as creative as you wish. The more real you make this vision, the more you invest your energies in the dream and you unite in your heart with those energies, the sooner this vision of heaven on earth will start manifesting. Most of you are as yet too complacent. And then it says here, some of you are hoping that the Star Brothers and the inner Earth population will come and create all the magic for you. And this is where people keep saying, oh yeah, the aliens are going to come and fix it. Oh, this is going to, and they keep saying this, but they're not doing anything. And they really have this belief that just some being of a higher awareness is going to come in and just do everything. And I'm like, it's not that way. If we did, what would you learn? Be assured that it will not happen this way. We are coming to assist you and the planet, yes. But it is up to you to do your part. It is your choice to make, to evolve your consciousness and manifest greater and greater levels of mastery for yourself. If you do not, we have no choice but to remain in the realms of the invisible. So they're not even going to come through to help if people aren't willing to do this. Heaven on earth is, in essence, a fifth dimensional reality. In the fourth dimension, life is much easier than the third. The fourth dimension is much brighter and more fluid, but it does not yet represent the full reality of heaven on earth. We suggest that you start with what you perceive to be fifth dimensional reality, even if you are not quite sure what it consists of. Do your best, and your consciousness will soon open to even more greater perceptions. The conscious dreaming will bring about a progression of thought, an evolution that will take you, if you give permission, into new dimensions. The most important thing is to begin the process. Earth Mother has dreamed her dream. Now she's asking humanity to dream with her, to envision all of the changes that you have been yearning for. So that's where natives, we always say, connect with the Earth Mother. I always say, ask her to show you, ask her to help you to see and understand and get all of these things so you can do this. Ask yourself those questions. What type of life do I want? What type of government do I wish for? What type of body do I wish to live in? And how do I want to look? What type of exchange would you like to see evolve on your planet? Do you still want to use money as a means of exchange, or would you prefer to use a more evolved type of barter system? Can you dream of something that no one has thought of before as a new and brilliant kind of exchange? How do you view your relationships of the future? What will the earth look like? What would the ideal climate be? What will the animals look like? What will be their behaviors with humans? There is no limit to the unfolding vision. You can have so much fun creating your own mental movies. This is where I always say, people in the future, this planet is going to be warm all around the planet. So that's my understanding, and that's something I believe in the future I will see as a reality. And that's something I've always believed. It's like I know I'm going to be 250 years old or older, and there's lots to learn. I know this whole planet is going to change, and the earth may be spinning from the west to the east, so the sun will come up in the west and go down in the east. That Edmonton, Alberta might be at the equator, and the earth will be in a whole new way and spinning the other way and doing things. So in my mind, these are things I'm aware of in the future. Very cool, Marinda. I've talked about this stuff for over 30 years with people. And I've had visions of the future and other things, but like I say, everybody has to start wanting to do this. And by plugging into the Earth Mother, she's going to show you things. She wants to give you opportunities to choose and create and be a part, and you have to want to work with her. And that's something the natives have tried for a long time, but they've disconnected that. They've cut that cord. They're more into the Western way of being, and they're not really connected deep into the ancient ways that natives understood things. Nothing that you can imagine is an illusion. Your images, will be for most of you remembrances of past experiences stored in an orderly or sometimes not so orderly manner. Some of us will have memories from Lemuria and Atlantis and other kinds of things. Sort through the imagery and use all parts to create your vision of a new reality. Access your deepest passions and your buried remembrances of times and places long ago. And that's why the Akashic records are important too. Touch your deepest self, and the images and ideas will flow. So if you can go deep enough inside, you can open these. Like we have many, many, many things stored, and if we can go in there and find that, we can bring it up and we can start doing things. And people need to wake up and start this process. So on this page, I'll read what it says. The world offers itself to you, and it is with divine love that you receive this offering. Your imagination is a conduit to the part of your soul that recognizes and allows this love to permeate your entire being. And that's from Celestia. So the next chapter 2, it says, Last Wars on this planet, a candle of hope. And this is where we're going through this final destructive part of this reality, like in the Revelations and Bible and stuff like that. In natives, we call it purifying. Other cultures have different names for this transition, but we will be going through this. It says, Greetings, my dear friends. This is Adama. I am so grateful to join with you again tonight. I want to gift your hearts with a candle of hope. I wish to give you a broader perspective on conflicts that are likely to take place or that are taking place on your planet. There are many of us from Telos joining me as I speak for the purpose of unfolding you in a wonderful blanket of love, peace, and protection. Many on the surface live in fear and distress over these events that have the potential to create injustice and violence against humanity. You are wondering why these conflicts could not be stopped as a result of the great love offering prayers, meditation, peace marches millions of people have initiated on this planet. You wonder why the effort of so many brave souls who have given all they have in an attempt to secure peace on the earth and her precious children have not been enough. It is not that, as a collective, you have not done enough, believe me. You have done all you could, and your Creator has heard your prayer. He has heard your cries for help and witnessed your intentions to live on a peaceful planet. Never in the whole history of the earth has humanity banded together in such a great way to demand peace on the earth. All of heaven has been watching in awe and praising your efforts and adding to them energetically. With the love and solidarity you have demonstrated, you have attracted the attention of billions of space brothers from many universes and galaxies who have come here to watch you. As a huge group, they now join you energetically in efforts to create peace on this planet. In Telos, we have been keeping prayer vigils around the clock with all of you. We have made ourselves ready to assist your safe passage into the next step of your evolutionary process, which will ease much of your pain and difficulties and worries. Understand that there is a small group of people on the planet who think they own this planet. They also believe in arrogance, that they cannot do that they can do anything they please, no matter what the cost is, or how much pain or suffering is imposed on humanity and the earth. In order to maintain their status quo of control and manipulation, they need to keep all of you in servitude in whatever manner and to whatever extremes you will allow them. They also want to maintain their enjoyment of 90% of the wealth of this planet, while the rest of humanity has to contend with sharing a meager 10%. And so, like, this is trying to help understand that. It says, those in control, dear ones, have a personal agenda. They want these conflicts more than anything else, because if they keep causing wars and stuff, keeps us afraid and stuck in this, and they just keep on doing whatever, we're allowing it because we're not using our minds, this interdimensional holographic machine. We're not understanding how to use it right. Those in control, dear ones, have their personal agenda. They want these conflicts more than anything else. The path to power is a strange one. Those who view the goal as control over others or glorification of their positions in a hierarchy or greed or misuse of resources do not hear the call of the divine guiding them to serve the greater good. Their actions spring not from the hearts of unity, but from fear and separation. And that's the truth. That's why they're doing what they're doing. Those, on the other hand, who view the goal of power as an increase of preceptivity, join themselves with the flow of God. They understand that the greater their understanding of perceptions of all that is, the greater will be their inclusion in the life flow of the Creator. They know that the more they evolve their conscious, the more they will embody the true divine self. And from the perspective of the true master, war is no longer a necessary tool for learning or desired opportunity for growth. And that's why I say get the knowledge. Learn all of this, read it, study it, make it a part of who you are. Eventually we'll join with you in a more tangible way, and the long dark night that has separated us for so very long will be over. Together we will create the new dream of a wondrous world where only love and grace reign. Soon those who hold the reins of power on this planet will be completely removed. And that's why I say you don't have to fight it. The universe is going to deal with it. Don't waste your time there. Hey, Tipson. And like I say, focus on the light. Focus on working with the Earth Mother. Focus on creating the new world, the new creation of the future. Soon those who hold the reins of power on this planet will be completely removed. This time is very near. Understand that they are aware that their time of control is coming to an end. That's why I'm like, sometimes I don't debate or talk about this, because I don't put my mind there. Trying to focus on the future, what I need to manifest, create, hold for the world, ask the Earth Mother, ask the angelic beings, whatever it is, to bring these pillars of light, these light cities, anything down to the earth to help the whole planet. Your Creator has already taken back his precious planet in his embrace, and you are now under the jurisdiction of the great central sun. And that's why when I pray, I always call on this great central sun. These rulers know very well that the decree to end their dominance has also been issued out of the great central sun. Realize that out of the absolute desperation, they hope that there may still be a faint chance that they can be successful in their last attempt for total world control and supremacy, but they're not going to. So it says here now in this next part, it says, recognize that they are ready to risk everything in an attempt to delay a little longer their day of accountability. So they're trying to play games and trick the universe, but you can't. Without any evidence of crimes, they are still accusing others in order to validate their own actions. Without the support of the rest of the world, they are planning to go ahead with their plans. Know in your heart, my precious friends, that this time of ruthless patriarchal dominance is coming to an end. Soon all will be accountable for their actions against humanity. Be aware also that their fears are far greater than yours. That is why they are so determined to play their last card, and I do mean their last card. They don't have any more after this. And this is where the energy is going to get burned up. Well, have a good day, Tracy, while you're at work. Maybe you can get earbuds and just let it play on one side. This book was written in says English publication June 2004, second printing 2006. So it's been around for a while, and this is where a lot of people got knowledge, and they've taken some of this and created. And that's where Adama and them are saying that they don't work with a lot of people, but they like this knowledge to come in so we can have it and work with it. And this is where a lot of people know this stuff, and they, use it in a way to create even more fear. Okay. It is now time for many of your political leaders to start experiencing a serious reduction of their powers and tyranny. And that's where you're going to see, like with our prime minister, that he's going to be disempowered. And you're going to start seeing that going on all over the world, where they used to be able, anything they wanted to do, they can get away with and keep us trapped in that. But that's all going to start changing. Very cool being Moy, one earbud. Right on. So, I'll go back here. It is now time for many of the politician leaders to start experiencing a serious reduction of their power and tyranny. And that's what Trudeau was doing. He was trying to do something, but it ain't going to work. Divine laws do not allow interference with the free will, and that's where I don't interfere, because I believe in divine law. I don't try to tell people what to do or not to do. I will give you knowledge. I will let you know all kinds of things, and I will allow you to choose, but I'm not going to tell you what to follow, what to do, what to practice, or anything else. And I will be there supporting you along the way as you grow. But whatever direction you'll end up going in, it's going to be your choice. Hey, Johnny or Joni, you're here with Kurt. That's really cool. Kurt's been part of my TikTok for quite a while. So I'm reading the book Telos, and it's about the fifth dimension, our Earth, and our ascension and things what we're going through. So if you just joined us, I'm reading the second book. So like I said, the powers of tyranny and divine law does not allow interference of free will. That's where universal beings can't just come in and change this whole planet, because that's interfering with everybody, and it's free will. The spiritual hierarchy will allow events to follow the present course until such a time as divine intervention is needed. This intervention will come when the balance of humanity recognizes the choice that they make each and every moment to support this old paradigm. So once we agree this is no more, we're going to change it really fast. And when this balance finally shifts, miracles will take place everywhere. All is in readiness in the light realm to aid your energy in wondrous ways. It is only for you to decide and give permission. And that's where you got to constantly give permission to the universe of light and your guides, your teachers, your ancestors, whatever knows who you're going to be in the future, to come on in and go to that purple temple at night for Saint Germain, and all of them can help you every night to, start connecting with Earth Mother and everything else. Whatever the warlords ultimately do, there is no longer as much energy to support their efforts. Be at peace, for their war plans will not escalate to the level of a full world war. You have already laid the groundwork for a greater consciousness shift that even we had hoped for at this time. Each day more light workers join your ranks, each day more awaken to their true nature and finally face the truth of their word. Your time has come. Although world events may not seem to mirror this, Do not despair, for all is in alliance with you and your goal of harmony. So in the next part it says, in the time of Lemuria, we faced a similar situation when we experienced a long period of war between Atlantis and Lemuria. And if you read Ramtha's books, Ramtha talks about the time of Lemuria and Atlantis and how one was treating the other really, really bad. And in the White Book, if you read, he'll talk about Atlantis and then how he tells his story. It's a really cool story. If you're ever interested, get the White Book. It's Ramtha's story. Even in the face of the potential threats of destruction of both continents, the warlords would not stop. The rest is history, and you all know what happened. You also know that there were no winners. Those wars weakened both continents to the extent that both perished 15,000 years ago, 15,000 years later. Many of those souls responsible for initiating the wars between Atlantis and Lemuria and the eventual destruction are also the same souls who are now attempting to do the same. And that's why I said the guy I met in Edmonton was from Atlantis, and he was messing around with crystals. And I told him, I'm like, you're going to blow up this world. And he, admitted that he works with the dark side and I'm on the light side. And I'm like, that's his choice. But whatever his path is, that's his. And whatever he's going to do, he's going to do in his lifetime. And that's where these souls in Lemuria and Atlantis and stuff like that, these dark people are back trying to do the same thing they did then. This time, however, the situation is different. Your Earth Mother's time for ascension has now come, and her wishes will be honored. From this time forward, she will cleanse herself. That's why she's got to roll, she's got to have earthquakes, she's got to sink parts of the earth, push up new parts. She will no longer tolerate the abuse of her body and of her precious children. We ask you to allow her that cleansing through the earth changes. The third dimension will eventually roll its energy into the fourth dimension. There will no longer be a third dimension as you know it today. Your bodies will mutate to the fourth dimension body and later on to the fifth dimension body. This body will be much lighter, but will still feel as physical, closer than ever. You are standing now at the dawn of the golden age and love of true brotherhood. And this is what the Mayans and a lot of them saw us transforming, but they could only see up to a certain point. In the light realms, we can now say that these impeding conflicts are the last ones that will ever be waged on this planet. And they say, if Jesus is now walking on the earth, at one point he will go to the Mount of Olives, kneel down, and he will pray, and it will split open from east to west, and there never will be wars on this planet again. And he's not a Jew. He's somewhere on the planet. He could be Chinese, he could be Russian, whatever, but he's somewhere on the planet. In the light realms, we can now say that these impeding conflicts are the last ones that will ever be waged on this planet. The dark forces know that. They have now reached the very last hour, and the bells of accountability have been ringing in their ears for quite some time. They know that their only choices are to align with the consciousness of love or ship out. You've heard the expression, the best roars the loudest when cornered. The beast roars loudest when cornered. The lightworker in the United States and many other countries are banding together through the internet and other means, creating a web light. That's why I say connect with light everywhere. Find your spiritual family. Find these things. Start connecting to all these things and start focusing and bringing up energy and all this other kinds of stuff. Creating a new web of light, the unity of love. Those who hide in the darkness and veil their actions perceive this web of light and love that it is being created across and around the planet. It says, your light has become their greatest fear. And that's why I say I want to become a brighter light more and more and more. Keep focusing, bring it in. Every cell, every last thing, radiate it out. And I do this for everybody. Like right now, I want God sending energy into all of you so you can radiate. Every Sunday when I pray, I say, ask that light to come in so it can get bigger and bigger and it will do things. It is their desire not just to control the planetary oil, but also to destroy this web of light and love that you are all creating together. Their main agenda is to create changes on this planet that will totally enslave the human race in a cage of fear. They wish to keep you in a place of spiritual poverty and emotional survival. They have succeeded quite well so far. Your life on the surface is quite challenging, and they presume it would take just another few terrors for them to totally engulf you in fear and control you for your own good and safety. Be in peace and hear the good news. Prior to your incarnation, you had been promised by your Creator that you will be allowed in this very lifetime to embody the fulfillment of your God presence and your Christhood. You will be allowed to manifest on the earth in your present incarnation the fullness of your divinity and spiritual gifts that have been veiled from you for a very long time. And that's where people are starting to experience this more and more, all over. And that's where people are trying to go into bliss instead of just letting this energy do what it needs to. People keep trying to force it, meditating, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm like, you don't have to. Soon those who are destined to form new governments, new collectives, will become visible. They have been preparing for this day and are ready living among you. Do not judge them too harshly or create expectations of who they are to be. For many who step forwards may surprise you. And this is where in the past people said I would work with the government. I'm like, you're crazy. I'd never want to have anything to do with the government. But people would channel to me that somewhere in the future, for some reason, I'm working for the government. In the past, I didn't understand it. For many who step forwards may surprise you. Many have masked their true identities within the very groups they seek to replace. And this is where people think they really, really understand me, but the universe has, like I say, not really allowed people to see who I fully am since I was born, not even my mother. Many have masked their true identities with the very groups they seek to replace. Reach out with your heart to recognize who your new leaders may be. All new structures will be formed for the benefit of the collective, and this is an important key to identifying those who are ready to finally support humanity. Even the boundaries of the country will not stop the coming together of those who support true change, and that's where in Alberta, the premier, she's trying to bring in this new change, but people don't see that. And there's others coming up that are trying to find a way to do that, but people are perceiving them as really, really bad or whatever. These conflicts will have the effects of acceleration on the entire planet. They will assist in awakening millions to the new awareness of their divinity and to the reconsideration of new values in their lives. Multitudes will discover new goals and purposes that are more aligned with their divine nature. As a result of these conflicts, you will find millions of people swelling the ranks of the light workers and banding together to create permanent peace and new realities based on divine truth. And that's going to really happen. I'm always been wanting this. I've searched for over 30 years trying to find a way to bring this into the world. These conflicts will also assist the erosion of the outmoded patriarchal structures that no longer serve you. Be prepared to experience sorrow and sad moments. Be a true witness to the suffering that will take place, as this will assist the opening of your heart to a much greater degree that is required for you and your passage into the higher dimensions. You will also clear a lot of accumulated karma, making space for new orders and the greatest recognition of your true divine self. And this is where people don't understand karma, they fear it. I'm like, a lot of things are going to get cleaned up. and you don't understand how, so stop trying to fight with it. Allow the universe to do what it knows to do. Allow allow children of my heart, the hand of God to play its magic. Your Creator is watching you very attentively, protecting the earth and her people who have chosen to stay to embrace their new glorious destiny. Instead of going into fear, despair, and hopelessness, light a candle of hope in your heart. Know that beyond the war, a brand new world awaits. Miracles are just waiting for you to grasp them. The gifts of love and grace from the Creator and your star family will be pouring down in ways you have never experienced before. Next part. In your heart, light a candle of knowingness that the divine will prevail and the victory is assured. And that's what I try to do. I try to hold this light in my heart, and I want it in everybody else, but they got to choose it. Because, hey, I can't think for nobody. I can give you knowledge, I can help you understand things, but you have to choose it. The people on this planet have stood together for the people on this planet have stood together by the millions and stated their intentions for peace, and so it shall be. You are marching across the planet demanding peace, and so it shall be. You have become the focus of the entire cosmos, as we watch you with love, intentions, and bravery rise up against the tyranny of a one-world government saying, this is far and no further, your day is done. And at some point we're all going to agree on that, and this silliness is going to stop and end. And the Creator and all of you co-creators are smiling, saying, at last they are waking up. Let there be peace on earth, and so it shall be. As the vibration continues to increase upon the planet, so will your responsibilities. And we, your Lemurian brothers and sisters, are gathering our teams here upon the surface of the earth to implement great plans. There are many more teams in every corner of the country of this planet. Eventually, we will be able to work in the goodwill with all of you who are desiring to serve the greater good with us, but nothing will be imposed on you. Your desire to serve with us will have to be ignited by the calling of your heart. And that's why I say you got to carry it inside yourself. You can't think it. You have to allow it to become you. Keep the candle of hope lit in your heart far beyond the cloud of joy, the ease and the grace, the dawning of the new world in unity of love, where violence will exist no longer, is now just beyond the horizon. Take care of each other in times of need. Extend your love and your comfort to those who have not had the opportunity to learn what you already know. Become the pillars of peace for those in fear, so that they can lean on you for comfort. And as others lean on you, we invite you to lean on us for our strength and support. In the days to come, we will be close to you and extend much love and assistance. So chapter 3, so I'm just going to take a quick look. It's going to talk about Brazil and these grids of energy and the spider people and how they're connected in different parts of the world. So it's connections between France, Quebec, and Brazil. Adama, Celestia, and the High Council of Telos is channeling this. What is the connection between France, Quebec, and Brazil? Long before the existence of underground cities in Telos, there was a triangle of mother energies, which is now identified on the surface as France, Quebec, and Brazil. Triangle. Almost every area of the planet forms part of a triangle or trinity, with 3 parts of the planet. These grids are part of the sacred plan, which we use inside the earth to assist in balancing and harmonizing the vibrations of the surface. Each of these countries, although we do not refer to them such inside the earth, carries a particular vibration, a color, a sound harmonics, and a planetary code. Together, all 3 create a new vibration of color that represents the grid signature within the Earth's interior, on the surface, and into the etheric planes that encircle the planet. So that energy goes way out in the atmosphere, it encircles the whole planet, but it also does things on the planet to help us. It also assists in harmonizing this grid with the energies of other grids on the planet. This network of grids interfaces with the organic meridian system of the planet herself. As we traverse this network of grids from within the planet, we can take the pulse of the Earth in terms of vibration that are currently carried on the surface. These grids also assist us in important work of monitoring the effects throughout the different regions of the Earth's interior. It allows us to deflect many potential catastrophic situations, man made or elemental in nature, that would occur on the surface appropriate if an appropriate balancing of energy were not generated from within the earth. In terms of energy, these three countries individually on the surface, you would recognize their vibration as follows. Okay, for France, they're going to explain the energy. So France transmits a very glowing pink color which seems almost white on the edge, with the warmest pink in the heart of the country, the Paris region. The light workers who have incarnated in France during this time of planetary transformations carries with them the pure vibration of the heart of Lemuria. While we recognize that all regions of the planet also host beings who carry these same vibrations, and extraordinary numbers of them have chosen to incarnate in France at this time, they have also incarnated in great numbers in the other two countries mentioned above as children of Lemurian goddess, representing the consciousness of the heart and the love of Lemuria. These choices were made in part because of the trauma that had engulfed France for most of the previous 3 centuries in a form of several major wars and revolutions which changed forever the government structure of France. In particular, the lasting effects of what is called World War II has created a need for much energetic balancing in the regions with the energies of the Jewish race. The understanding that much of the world has held regarding the Jewish race throughout the entirety of this current civilization is incorrect. The Jewish race has held the energies of the divine masculine in the consciousness of the earth since mankind first appeared on this planet. This is not to say that others have not also carried or brought the Christed energy to the planet, but the Jewish race, which was maintained as a true genetic race, existed to uphold the pure spark of the divine masculine, who first infused the divine feminine eons ago. In this regard, the Jewish race is an integral part of the Lemurian identity, which has maintained within the culture that connection since the inception of divine source within the planet. We recognize the vibration that is carried by the Jewish race has held its integrity through millennia of attempts to distort it. This was accomplished by the requirements that the lineage be passed through the mother in order to hold the structures and integrity within the DNA of the race. As with all of the many surface religions, the present-day dogma that grew around the Jewish religion no longer holds the original vibration that was transmitted from divine eons ago. The source vibration itself has been held within the consciousness of the beings that is your Earth Mother and provides an ongoing identity for her. This source vibration is also held within the DNA of all beings who have had lifetimes or incarnations within the Jewish race, including areas of Lemuria and Atlantis. This source vibration is also present to some extent within most beings that are currently incarnated on the planet. So everybody carries a piece of this energy within them. Like I say, we carry lots of different kinds. The Hebrew language also holds much of the source energy vibration that has been a part of many teachings and transmissions that have been rediscovered in your recent past. These ancient teachings are now fully investigated, redistributed to the world. Now we'll go to Quebec. Quebec also carries a profound connection to the vibrations and colors emitted from Quebec display a combination of peach with a core of emerald green at the center. So if you look at it, you'll see like a peach color, and that's sort of like the heart chakra. It's sort of a pinkish with green, and So Quebec has a peach color with a green center, or emerald green center. The heart of Quebec resides in the region of Montreal, and much is being done at this time to ready Montreal for the creation of the center in which the disseminated Lemurian teachings and healing work. The French-speaking population of Quebec has maintained their language as a heart connection to the heart vibration of France. Quebec was originally fashioned as an outpost for the vibration and a point of the triangle and transmits energy directly towards the North Pole of this planet. This connection to the pole is also part of the grid characteristic that allows transmissions of energy from Earth's interior into the triangle and from there into parts and over all the grid, like throughout the whole world. Although the religions of this province became predominantly Catholic, as did France herself, Quebec and Montreal in particular hold an important connection as well to the Jewish race. It is there that many who were prosecuted in the last century in Germany for their Jewish heritage chose to reincarnate, as that they could maintain their link to the heart vibration of Lemuria and also to escape the trauma and their previous incarnations in Germany. The healing energies of the province of Quebec are extraordinary, and many beings that have served throughout the eons as healers and teachers of these arts are now gathered to begin sharing this knowledge with the world. And their PowerPoints are really important. The proximity of Quebec to the United States is also very important. Each of the three countries or regions forming a part of this trinity are connected directly to another country that holds, from the past, tremendous energies of destruction, violence, and separation from the energies of divine source. At governmental and administrative levels, France holds this connection to Germany, and Brazil holds it to Argentina. In each of these instances, the feminine heart energies of France, Quebec, as well as other regions of Canada and Brazil are present to balance out the overwhelming distrust of the feminine that is distorted patriarchal governments of the United States, Germany, and Argentina hold. So they carry a very, very aggressive dark energy. Many of the perpetrators of great violence during the Second World War in Germany escaped retribution in their countries by traveling to the United States and Argentina. And they let these Germans go and hide and carry living on. Like they moved to Central America and they lived out their lives. And they did a lot of things. They have helped to engender a vibration of distrust, violence, and chaos. This distrust has formed a very important part of the vibration of the anti-Semites, as you call it in these countries. The energy of anti-Semite and the acts that have been allowed in the name are all acts on the divine masculine by those who fear the divine feminine. That's where the women are going to take back their power. Men have to support women to create the new world and all these other things. And this is where the women of the West are going to come in and they're going to use the children and everything and make choices to change. That's where women have to step up and start being the leader, stop hiding and being afraid, start channeling, start becoming hollow bones, start doing everything you're supposed to. Because these darkness, they're afraid of the feminine. And I've always supported the feminine. I've always prayed for the woman and children. My granddad taught me that. In fact, these three countries, Germany, Argentina, and the United States, form their own triangle of energy, which has allowed much imbalance and disharmony to spread within these countries. Their reconnection with the heart energy of Lemuria is facilitated through the grid of France, Quebec, and Brazil, which has been our greatest tool to reestablish a great level of harmony in these regions. The energies held against the Jewish race have been predominant in the United States, Germany, and Argentina, attest to the high levels of balancing that is going on at this time on the planet. Those who have the highest levels of distrust are moving into greater levels of fear as the light of divine grows now brighter each passing day. In truth, many of you have been incarnated in other lifetimes as Jews, even if they are currently not that of the race at this time, will be called into service as holders of this vibration. So if you were a Jew in the ancient past, you carry something, you're holding and carrying something to use in this lifetime now. Even if they are currently not that of the race at this time. So, like I say, you carry an energy vibration in the cells and that. You will be called into service as a holder of this vibration. It represents the true divine spark of inspiration that is now to meld with the goddess energy of this planet, to reunite with the energy of the earth in a way that is the earth in a way that is unprecedented since her creation. Now Brazil. Brazil forms a link with the south pole of the planet. The color that she emanates are very pleasing to the eye and includes a combination of yellow, red, blues, all of the colors within the surface spectrum that these three primary colors can create. This is due to the highly crystalline nature of Brazil. She is in fact one very large, highly prismatic generating crystal. Brazil is a transmission energy of the heart and healing energies emanating from France, Quebec, the northern hemisphere, and the planets into the southern hemisphere. The work that is currently being done within these three countries reflects the very great number of the highly evolved souls who have incarnated there at this time to hold energies of and serve the purpose of this very important grid. The heart energy of Lemuria manifests through the grid into the surface regions of the planet that need it most. The feelings that many hold in these regions will be the first to be connected directly by those from the Earth's interior and the Star Brothers is indeed true. In fact, this first level of emergence has already happened due to the great number of beings who have incarnated or walked into these countries. It is now just a matter of these gatherings coming together into greater light. Those who so eagerly wish to contact you, in fact, other aspects of you in other times, spaces, and dimensions, many of you are physical extensions of souls who are present within the earth in other galaxies and universes. The more aspects of your multidimensional selves you can communicate to and integrate with, the sooner the surface dimensions will recognize and reflect it. That's why I say you got to call back all your pieces. You hear me say that when I pray. Very cool, Danny Spoons. Stay grounded and safe. And I'm just about finished this one. So if you're in that Quebec area, New York area, and that, there's a lot of energy being generated. Like I say, it's a real PowerPoint, and people are going to be drawn to these areas who are part of the future, and you're connected to lots of other dimensions in the earth and other places. So if you're connected to all these other places that it explained here, the more aspects of your multidimensional self you can communicate to and integrate with, the sooner the surface dimension will recognize and reflect this. That's why I say call back in everything yours when I go to the solar plex. From all the other worlds, galaxies, inner worlds, in whatever dimension, call it back in. It belongs to you. We are already together in the vibration of the grid we discussed in the network of grids that recognize the vibrations of the heart inside and outside the planet. In truth, there is no distinction between the dimensions when you travel the energies of this grid. We invite you all to connect with the network as readily and as often as you can until it becomes a part of your intrinsic nature. The children who are incarnating today carry the key to this grid, and that's why these children are all ready for the future. They're already born. They only see the future. They know what they're going to create and do on this planet, and they can tell you about it. They're really amazing. The children who are incarnating today carry a key to this grid and their DNA, and they are working to share the key with all who live on the surface. And that's why people need to listen to the children. Mothers, you have to protect the children. You can't to have some old person say, hey, you shut up, you're a child, you don't know any, blah, 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 and just attack the child. No, that's not acceptable. And mothers are going to have to start schooling their children and protecting them and allowing them to become what they're meant to in the future. And same with the fathers, they got to start doing this. That's why I'm like, who are the teachers out there for the children? Listen and open your hearts to them. They are constructing a much more highly evolved potential future for the planet than the majority of you would allow yourselves to imagine. We are all here in service of the divine plan that holds more magic than any of you could ever envision. The love that we hold for you travels the pathways always. Many blessings to you all, and we wish you much joy from the next phase of your journey to love and freedom. So then I'm going to go into the chapter 4, the magnetic grid work. So that's going to give you more and more deeper understandings about the energies and that. And then chapter 5, the effects of recreational drugs on spirit. Yeah, it's really, really interesting. It's like people will go to shamans and spiritual people, or they go and sit with their friends and they'll talk about what they see around people. And sometimes the universe is showing you something for a reason. It's like yesterday, I'm sitting here reading, and Gibson tells me there's a brown bear behind me, and I'm like, thank you. And like I say, people get shown things, but people are afraid because as a child, if you said you saw something, well, it was your imagination, or you were crazy, or or it's evil because of church or whatever. So people don't open up and just reveal things because they're afraid. They're afraid of what they're going to attract. They're afraid, somebody's going to call them names, or they're going to get locked up in the loony bin and all kinds of stuff like that. But if you believe in the light, you can't be harmed. Nothing can go on. And if you're here to be a prophet or whatever, and like I say, that's why you don't force it. The third eye is showing you, it already knows when it shows you something, but people are wanting to force it and keep it wide open. You're not supposed to do that. But people are trying to force it to be open all the time, and it'll drive you insane. And that's what people become schizophrenic. They blow it open and they do something and they can't shut it down and they go crazy. And that's why if a person can find the right kinds of persons, if they're schizophrenic, like Melodoma Some or people like that, they will heal them and get them off drugs and everything, but they got to go back to the beginning. They got to shut everything off and start all over again. And when you're a child, if you're afraid of somebody and they really, really scare you and blows this wide open, you go schizophrenic. And spirits come in, and these spirits try to drive you insane because they see in the future you're a healer. But you have to want to shut it all down and start over and start again. And a lot of people, they open up things and then they just force it. And that's where people end up getting sick, all kinds of bad things happen, their lives get destroyed, all kinds of things go on because they are trying to force the universe to do something they have no idea or understand anything about it. And that's where you always want to find the right teacher, the right kinds of people. So I'm going to read from here. The world would seem a much darker place. It is the light of the love for each other, and the divine did not flood every step of your path. So sometimes we got to wander around in the darkness, and that's where sometimes we're challenged with fears and other things, like things going on the planet. But just know you're always protected. So chapter 4, the magnetic grid work. Adama, you reveal that there are involved in the grid work. Oh, sorry, I'll read it again. Adama, you reveal that you are involved in the grid work. We would like to know what grid you are working on and what is your role in the grid work. Blessed master teachers, you are all true masters who have joined together in this grid experiment. It is indeed the first time on this planet that consciousness has been raised in this manner through the integration of physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual body concurrently. So all our bodies are on these grids. I am involved in the energy grid inside the Earth that works together with the physical crystalline structures on the surface of the planet. This grid has to do with the planet herself. The energies from the grid go out from within and form an etheric grid around the planet. The grid work with the vibrational rising of energy and with the planetary shift. This action is also assisted by various activations from astrological configurations. And that's where astrology, there's lots in it when you understand it. This grid is also connected with the Piscean energies and is used to hold the Christ energy. In the past, it was used to hold the energies of the planetary grid. Now this grid has received an upgrade to begin the shift into the Aquarian energy. Now we've gone into Aquarius. It's shifting to that Aquarian energy now. The time of Jesus is ended. He did whatever, and it took 2,300 years. Now we're going into the Aquarian energy, and the Earth is shifting into this 1,000 years of advancement, all kinds of things, and changing this whole planet and going into the fifth dimension. And the Earth Mother is going to go to a higher vibration. The shift into the Aquarian energy. As we begin to turn back towards the great central sun through the risings of the consciousness, it is no longer necessary for energies to be held here. These energies are now shifting to a more Aquarian feminine vibration. That's where women are going to get empowered and they're going to step up. You have to be the leaders, the hollow bones, the channelers, the teachers of the children, and you got to decide no more men, all is stupidity. And men got to decide to back women and children. This does not mean that the masculine is being lost. It simply means that both polarities are being integrated back into balance. And that's where men, they're saying, oh, men are really becoming feminine. You know, in the 60s, men were real big, tough, and, you know, they're warriors and all kinds of stuff. But now men are like sitting around, you know, I want to get my hair done and my nails. And they're allowing that feminine in. There's nothing wrong with it. They're just going back into the way they're meant to be. Women are going into the masculine where they're balancing the masculine with the feminine. Men are going from masculine into balancing the feminine. And the earth is doing this. So everything is trying to go back into balance. So here is the central sun, and we are way out here in the universe. So the Earth is way out here. This is the central sun, billions and billions and billions of miles from the universe we're in. And we are getting close. So we were way out here, like far away, but we're coming closer and closer and closer to that alignment with the central sun, where this high vibration energy, that's where it says we're going through this null zone. And the transformation of this planet where we can step into fourth, fifth, higher dimensions. And we're in the natives, we say we're walking from the west to the north, and we're getting closer to the north. We're going to get to the north and then start into the east, and that's when the light starts coming back and the change of everything on the planet. The vibrations that come out of Lemuria, especially out of Telos, is in itself a great generator of energy because it is its position within Mount Shasta. An embodiment of the great central sun on this planet, it is within this mountain that all energy shower on your planet from the galactic core and the Milky Way hits the planetary grid. The main and first entry point for this planet, so the energy coming from into there, which are situated on mountaintops. For those points, the energies are distributed over the rest of the grid. Each grid has various entries and exit points. The exit points correspond with areas where the energy is disseminated into other grids and the rest of the planetary energy. So it keeps going down, dispersing and getting where it needs to do what it needs. The grid created by Lemurian consciousness is also mirrored in each one of you. It is integrated into the sacred geometry of your body as you set your intentions for the higher focus of divine purpose. There is now on this planet a division of energies between personal and global consciousness. And we're going to go global. Everybody's in this personal one right now, but we're going to unite and go global. Although both levels of consciousness are in one truth and the same, from the time being there is an individualization between the two. This allows the vibrational shifts in each individual to take place through free choice. This understanding was reached by the Lemurian High Council in order to reinforce on a cellular level a true dimensionality of this shift and to fuse it into the collective consciousness of the human race. Prior to this decision, it was thought that the global shift could happen with a series of infusions of energy to the planet herself, and then from the planet to other individuals. But you, as a cell of the body of the planet, must anchor the integrity of these vibrational individually and fully account for all the unique permutations of human consciousness. The DNA matrix, the crystalline grid, will shift into slightly different manner for each individual. In doing so, it will hold the full spectrum of vibrations that are needed for the true global shift. As energies then harmonize for larger and larger groups of individuals who have accomplished their individual shifts, the global shift will happen in ever increasing waves. There is a sound that accompanies the shift. This sound generates from the etheric realms, but it can be heard on this plane. We call it the song of the soul. Harps and lutes cannot produce as beautiful a sound as the wave of love that stirs from the soul, that tickles the vibration of the heart and the eardrum simultaneously. We have a three-stringed instrument in Telos that is played by caressing the strings rather than plucking them. With our fore and middle finger, this beautiful and inspirational vibration resonates in the same spectrum as the soul song. As the grid accelerates, the DNA matrix changes that are taking place in each one of you will allow your own song to be heard. And that's where I say we have a heart song. And the natives talk about this sometimes, and you want your heart song to be heard, and you want it to go out there. In this grid acceleration, DNA matrix can changes that are taking place in each one of you. It will allow your song to be heard. You all resonate to your own unique song that we often sing to you in recognition. And in toning, there's a way of connecting to this song that each person has. And some of these practices on the earth, they know this. They know you give off a sound, and everybody gives off one. They are like the other titles and names that you have that signify who you are by vibration, and that's how the universe knows us, by the sounds and everything. Same with higher beings and spirits and all kinds of stuff. We grace your dreams with reminders in song to help you on your path, and our love joins together with yours for the grace of all. So the next one is, what is your role in the grid work? So I'm going to talk more about that. My work has to do with holding and feeding to this grid the higher fourth and fifth dimensional energy vibration that is gradually brought up to the surface from within. We work within the planet to help the energies rise through the planet herself. When you connect with the earth physically or subtly, you can feel the energy that way. We also release energetic enhancements out through the North and South Pole and other key points. My role is one of administration, architect of the grid, and organizing of the energy input and release. As the structure of the grid itself is now in place, my work will involve further modifications made to it as enhancements in the flow of energies. The grid is constantly evolving, a continuous work in progress. There are many beings that are also working with the grid. They have been referenced, there has been reference made to different grids, but they are in fact multi-dimensional layers of one huge extensive grid work that is being integrated together now. That's what is the difference between the cryon grid and your grid. So this is where it's going to talk about these different energies. Different energies work with different components of the setting up of the grid. Cryon works primarily with the magnetic energy of the grid. We work with the crystalline grid. But his work is also coming together of different groups who have worked with these energies over a long period of time, each contributing different component to the grid. A new grid has been created as a result of the participation of many, many different energies, such as the Elohim, the Arcturians, the Palladians, the Andromedans, the Venusians, and even star energies and races that cannot be identified easily in your frame of reference. And in my prayer, I always say, call in the stars and all these beings and energy, sun, moon, all these different kinds of things. So when you're doing that, there's a lot more kinds coming in, even that you don't understand. As we are all part of the whole, this grid is now, okay, I'll go back here again, Venusians, even star energies, and races that cannot be identified easily in your frame of reference. As we are all part of the whole, this grid is now being formed in one whole to serve the planet and humanity. Within the grid that are being unified at this time, there are many different entries and exit points, just as you as an individual bring a unique piece to each joining together of energies that you engage in, thereby creating a new unprecedented effect. So this grid is ultimately creating a new energy platform around the planet that will hold and harvest the wonderful energies that are being generated to and through the earth. These energies are not just one-time transmissions, but energies that will continue to form and hold around your planet in the ongoing process. So it's going to carry on way into the future. Next one. Are they planning to restore the planet to its original perfection, or is it going to be beyond that? To go into the fifth dimension, it's the whole planet is changed, all kinds of things. It is certainly the plan and hope for more magic will be created here than any of us can imagine. There is still a question about how the planet is actually going to evolve. All is dependent on the extent of shifts possible in the human consciousness, individually as well as collectively. How much of this wondrous plan will you allow to unfold? How much will you choose to create with us? As we experience the much greater shift of feminine energy on the planet, how much resistance will be encountered? Will you continue to tear down that which we are actively trying to rebuild? At this point, much is still seriously in question. It is also a matter of what you choose to do to assist this process and how to choose to live as citizens of the planet. The magnetic grid has shifted and the crystal grid has been reborn. Now we are all waiting for the quickening of the next great grid, the grid of human consciousness. And that's where my granddad said people have to catch up. The earth and everything is already prepared. It's for us to figure out and now try to catch up and become a part of this. And my granddad told me that as a little boy. There is so much that is going to happen in the next 10 years in terms of energy and conscious raisings. It's important to see communities come together and demonstrate their full support to the earth. Next one it says, for your emergence to the surface, are you going to wait until the consciousness has shifted a great deal, or are you going to come out sooner? We have a plan for our emergence that we cannot disclose at this time. Our plan remains fixable or flexible with various potentials, and which one will actually unfold will depend on how humanity shifts. We would also like to see humanity starting to live from the heart at all times, rather than this wait and see attitude. That's what everybody's into. I'll just wait and see. I'll just go over here and I'll do this and wait and see. Somebody's going to blink for me. Some people hear about us rationalize with their minds rather than finding the truth deep in their hearts and decide they will believe only when they see us in front of them. And that's the truth. A lot of people say they're Christians and spiritual, native spiritualists and that. But, until they actually see it in front of them, it's about the only time they're going to really try and believe. They're like the last minute, they sit on the fence. Those with the wait and see attitude will certainly have to wait much longer to see us, and that's where they're going to go on the wheel of karma. Because they just don't want to accept. They just want to keep proving God doesn't exist or whatever. And they just want to laugh at everybody. For quite some time yet, your physical presence among us will be permitted by invitation only. As explained previously, these meetings will not take place in the third dimensional vibration. It is up to you to raise your vibration. That's where I say, bring in the light, go higher and higher and higher. Connect with the fourth, fifth, sixth, whatever higher dimensions. You need this energy. As the energies continue to shift on the planet, the shift in vibration will soon be possible for many of you to draw to this material. We have by now witnessed great heart openings, acceptance, and heartfelt welcome from the French population of this planet through the publishing of our book. This is giving us great hope that soon we will be able to initiate small clandestine gatherings with those who have reached the level of vibration necessary to be in your presence. We ask you to let go of the 3D distorted energies and move on to the new with love and joy. This is your key. Now, Chapter 5, and this one is the effects of recreational drugs on spiritual development. Nice thought. The dialogue with Adama. Example, marijuana and other narcotics, the same principles also apply in great measure to all other addictions such as alcohol and tobacco. Ariel, Adama, is there a group conscious attached to the use and the addictions of substance such as marijuana or peyote or recreational drugs or spiritual tools? Please describe what effects these substances have on their users. Adama, I would like to speak first on the general use of recreational drugs. A little history to begin with, if you will. When these sacred plants originally came forth from creation, they had a very wonderful purpose of uplifting energy and consciousness. In the beginning of their usage, very long time ago, consciousness altering plants assist people to open their perceptions to the divine qualities, to their divine presence and creator. The plants were used also to enhance telepathic abilities, as well as gifts of clairaudience, clairvoyance, psychometry, and other similar spiritual abilities. These spiritual openings connected people more directly with the angelic kingdom, nature spirits, animal kingdom, and the beings from the other side of the veil. The enhanced energies provided by the use of the sacred plants also facilitated the ability for interdimensional travel. These were the main purposes of these herbal substances, to create spiritual pathways. This is the way it was in the beginning of creation before the fall of consciousness that took place during the fourth golden age. The original sacred plants assisted the spiritual evolution of mankind in the beginning of life on this planet for millions of years until the fourth golden age. During a very long period of Earth evolution, people would occasionally draw on the energies of these plants with much reverence, sacredness, and intention. That's why shamans use it for certain reasons. They don't abuse it in things. They ate a small portion of a leaf, usually directly from live plants, according to the experience that is desired. There were quite a variety of those plants, and each one offered its own specific spiritual gift. At no time were these plants ever misused, nor was any addiction engendered engendered from these uses, so people didn't become addicted. Children were given full understanding of the usage at a young age, and there was never any question of using them for any other purpose than the ones intended. The sacred plants had a fifth dimensional frequency and beyond. People did not smoke to inhale these substances through the lungs like it is done with the present day counterparts of the original plant, which, by the way, are not the same plants at all. They only ate a small portion of a leaf or a whole leaf, depending on the species, as this amount was all that was required to attain the desired result. People approached the plant with much reverence, asking permission from the devas of the plant to partake of the attributes of each specific plant carried. And that's why when I'm going to do any kind of stuff like that, I pray and I ask for permission and I ask the plant to help me in what is going to be helping me. And I always let the universe know what I am doing. The plants grew abundantly in many places, and almost every home had a sacred spot in their gardens reserved for the growth of a small quantity of a few species of these plants. They were considered to be food for the soul and just as important for substance as food for the body. The sacred plants carried a very high vibration. When ingested, they shared attributes of their vibration that elevated the body and opened the conscious to higher understandings and experience. The so-called weed that this generation smokes or uses today with the hope of the connection with the higher aspects of themselves or an experience of other dimensional realities are not in any way the same plants that were originally used for spiritual purpose. The original plants no longer exist in your third dimensional reality, although several species have been preserved inside the earth. It says next, incarnated beings participating with black arts are the ones who first genetically altered the original plants. So this is going back in time and how they knew way in the future when we would use these plants, the darkness altered that. To understand what happened to this gift that mankind used so freely for a very long time, it is necessary to go back in history at the beginning of the Dark Ages when people gave their power away to lesser vibrations and powers other than their own divine presence. One by one, civilization of the planet gradually forgot their original state of oneness with divine and opened themselves to the manipulating and controlling energies of the shadow. Incarnated beings of black arts that had attained a lot of knowledge on other spheres of existence prior to coming to the earth became the black magicians of ancient times. They are the ones who first genetically altered the original plants as their roots in order to exercise great control over the people by dimming their spiritual powers and perceptions. This took place over a long period of time, and the original plants were gradually destroyed or altered to an increasingly reduced vibrational rate. The plants available today as recreational plants carry a negativity, altered vibration that is a far cry from the original plant. What the youth, as well as many adults on this planet, are addicted to are substance that take their users into a lower level of the astral plane. In the lower astral realms, users get hooked and corded by astral entities. So these entities, they hook into you and they feed off you. They make you want to get stoned or drink or whatever it is. They're parasites. And they bring you down lower and lower and lower, and you got to do more and more and more of this. And you have to feed them, and they're always starving. They always want you to do that so they could suck everything out of you. In the lower astral realm, users get hooked and corded by astral entities needing their energies in order to survive, thus creating a major cause of addiction. Those indulging in these substance endlessly create these distorted energies in the emotional body and other bodies. And that's where you can see these energies in people. You can see all kinds of stuff. It's crazy. They are real and alive, living in a low energy consciousness that becomes more and more aggressive in its attempt to gain control of the energies of the user. Over time and with continued usage, the entities grow in number and in power in the energetic field of the host. That's why it's really hard to quit smoking and all kinds of stuff. These things come in and they don't want you to stop. They try every way to keep you addicted to things. And this is where you got to make yourself a sacred temple. You can't pollute your body and use these things that bring you down and trap you in the lower realms. That's why after people drink, for 4 days you don't feel good. And it takes 4 days for these entities to leave your body so all your energy can come back in. Then you feel really good, and then you get drunk again, and then for another 4 days you feel really crappy. These entities of such low vibration consciousness have so little and energies of their own that they have to get you hooked on willing human beings and to produce cravings in their emotional body in order to survive. The cravings are fundamentally rooted in addiction created by entities and the astral plane that need to suck your light and your energy whenever they can as a means of assuring their own survival. One can say that your addictions are also their fix. So by being addicted, you're their fix. It's like the plant is your addiction and fix. Well, they have theirs too, and they suck on your light. This concept of how many types and levels of addiction are formed is not yet well understood. If it were, very few of you would be interested in partaking of addictive substance, not even plain commercial cigarettes or alcohol. That's why I don't do any of that. I don't want to pollute my body and make it negative for all kinds of crazy entities. Over time, the vibration of the remaining plants were altered until what you have left today is a handful of low vibration consciousness altering plants. Instead of taking people into consciousness of the realms of light in the multidimensional travel, the negative qualities of the plant you have today take their users into the lower vibrations of the astral plane, where light and very dim and consciousness very distorted. The black magicians brilliantly altered the vibrations of the original plant to create a tearing effect in the soul and a greater separation from source. And that's why, like people who are drug addicts and that, it's something making them do that. Recreational drug users are, for most part, people who receive consciously and unconsciously that they have lost their connection to the higher self. They are seeking a form of union with the emotional level of the greater part of themselves. Addiction arises from the natural desire of the soul, which can never be fulfilled by engaging in this kind of activity. Drug users keep inhaling and ingesting more and more of the conscious altering substance in a desperate desire to reconnect with a part of themselves that would hopefully fill the void of the emptiness they feel in their gut. Drug usage illustrates an attempt to find external, the jewels, the love that can only be found within the self through the love of self that beats through the heart. And that's why you got to go in and find your light and your truth. It says, I repeat again, mind and soul altering substance that you greatly find or generally find on the surface can only amplify the void, the emptiness, the loneliness of the soul who seeks fulfillment outside the self. That's why you have to love yourself. And that's a really big thing to figure out. And sometimes you can go around a person who does drugs, and you go around and you just feel all these weird things. If you smoke joint in the past, all of a sudden you want to light up a joint. That entity knows you used to smoke dope and that, and it's going to try to come in and trick you to smoke dope or do something with this person or drink. And they want to start feeding again, and they see your light and they want to get in and feed off you. When one relies on low vibration substance to create an altered state or to connect with the divine, the result is only great illusion and self-deception. Do you understand that? The grasses that are grown and the chemical substance that are produced today from the mind-altering purposes are totally unnatural to the soul. The physical body, the mind, and the emotional body, these substances create distortions in these bodies that can take a very long time to correct, even several lifetimes. So that's where you got to karmically pay back by tearing your soul and allowing things to feed off and staying trapped in these lower places. Where there was once love, innocence, and purity, when the sacred plants were in their original genetic creation, there is now negativity in the form of a huge group consciousness of drug entities that are destructive to the very fabric of life and consciousness itself. There is hardly any place you can go now that is free from the vibrations of these entities. Even you go in churches and places, really bad, crazy energies in some places. This is another plot to the Dark Brothers, whose agenda is to stop or slow down the evolution of the entire generation. You find very large groups of entities waiting for their willing prey, clustered in areas where people gather to inhale and partake of these substances. When you go into bars, they're just filled with every kind of crazy thing. You open your third eye in a bar, scare the crap out of you, you'll run out of there. Hey, Happy New Year, Pamela Fielding. I hope you have a wonderful new year with many good blessings. All of you who are here, who've been here listening to me read these books and everything. If you could observe from your perspective, you would know without a doubt that someone indulging in the substance invites legions of these entities in. They cling to you and almost torture you emotionally to incite you to indulge more. They are like hungry vampires competing for their fix. The addictions come not as much from the plants itself, but from the entities who attach themselves to to those using the substance. This is the main cause of the torment of addiction. Aurelia, what do these entities look like? Adama, I'm going to describe these entities to you. They look like thick smoke that can be 6, 10, 12, 20 feet long, a bit like a snake in shape. They grow and they get bigger as the energy wraps itself around the different bodies, the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, of those who partake of these substances. It is mainly the emotional body that's affected. That's why I say our emotions, you got to really, really get out of that, because that's where they trick you. Oh, poor me. Oh, I feel so sad. So I think I'm just going to have a drink and I'm going to go sit with my friend and tell them how poor I am so they can feel sorry, and we'll smoke drugs, and you do this, bullshit. I'm poor. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, just pet me like a little dog or whatever. It's like, no, you got to stop that shit. They grow and they get bigger, and their energies wrap around all the different bodies, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, of those who partake of these substances. It is mainly the emotional body that is affected, as it gets imprinted with the constant cravings for more and more drugs by the astral entities who embody that vibration. This usage and addiction leads most of the time to personality changes and character damage. The soul becomes more and more disconnected from the purpose of its incarnation and from the real self. Those who spend their lifetimes in altered states of consciousness, and that's why I say stop trying to be blissed out. It's trying to tell you your people get addicted to being blissed out, and the entities really deceive you, and they're actually feeding off you. They're doing all kinds of things, and you got to figure out how to do things right. Those who spend their lifetimes in the altered states of consciousness may have to experience several more incarnations in order to return to the state of conscious they engendered before the drug use. They will almost certainly suffer a setback in their personal evolution, no matter how spiritual drug users think they have become with their addictions. We say that they are embracing a great illusion. And that's where, when Cindy years ago, she decided to quit drinking and everything. I never told her to. I never asked her to. She just made a choice, and she's been sober for years now. And she made the decision. I never ever brought it up or anything. Talked to her later about it later on, years later, but at that time I didn't influence anything. Ariel, can you be more specific about how each of our four body, emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual, as well as our auric field, are affected by drug use? And it says, on the emotional body, Adama is saying, we will start with the four bodies. The one most affected is the emotional body. The entities lure people into addictions mainly by creating a sensation of starvation or craving for the addictive substance, primary in the emotional body. And the solar plex, that's where I always work on that one when I pray and ask the universe for people. It is well documented that those who take these substances retard the growth and the maturing of their emotional bodies. In general, they can remain quite unbalanced and immature emotionally for many years, and even the remainder of their incarnation. When you see men and women in their 30s and 40s with the maturity of a 15 or 20-year-old, you know that there is something that has stunted the growth of their emotional body. The emotional body usually stops maturing at the age one starts ingesting these substances. So often you hear people say about someone, he is 43 years of age, but going on 16 in maturity. Do you get that picture? This emotional immaturity creates deficiencies in the character building of the drug user instead of developing the qualities of their divinity, and the addiction causes many resort to all sorts of manipulation, treachery, distorted ways of acquiring money in order to get their fix. There are those who will kill or resort to prostitution to get the funds to feed their addiction. Drug dependency often destroys the di- di- or sorry Drug dependency often destroys or diminishes the qualities of the soul, and the goal of the incarnations are not met. And that's why you got to figure out what your spiritual path is so you can really, really move in that direction. Everyone has a certain desire to evolve and become the divine being that they are. This is your very nature, your birthright. Those who use drugs or similar addictive substance are looking outside themselves for what can be found only within the depths of the soul. Drug abuse demonstrates an unwillingness to grow through the normal channels of learning, through the daily lessons of life that help you, through life that helps you evolve. In all truthfulness, there are no external shortcuts to enlightenment. It is all within you. As the vibration on the planet increases, the youth of the world and the users of recreational drugs will have to make a serious choice and a commitment to their life, to their evolution, and to the predetermined purposes of their incarnation. They will soon be faced with the choice of either get off the pot or potentially leave their present incarnation to spend time in the astral planes with the energies they have flirted with. Basically, at some point, this is a choice all will have to make if they wish to ride the wave of ascension with those who have made the choices to be united with their divine self. And this is like it always come back again. It's your choice. You decide what you want to do. They don't care. Like I say, you can spend a long time karmically in these other dimensions, and until you're ready to evolve. On the mental body, in the mental body, drug use affects the character and level of integrity, and the motives for living become very distorted. Instead of living for the development and integration of noble purpose, life often becomes a race of obsession to find more money through any possible means in order to buy more of these substances. The user's mind becomes dull and cloudy while entertaining this kind of consciousness. Genetically, drugs use can often create repercussions in the progeny for 2 to 3 generations. So people who smoke lots of drugs, it affects the DNA and it affects the children being born up to 3 generations, which could manifest as various kinds of physical, emotional, and mental weakness. That's where a lot of kids are being born and they're saying they're ADHD and all kinds of things, but their mothers were really hard drug users, and their kids are being born with all kinds of different complications. But they don't say, "Oh, I shouldn't have done drugs while I was pregnant," or while in between pregnancy they're doing lots of drugs and stuff like that, and they're labeling them with all kinds of stuff, but it's actually what the parent has done. And I know quite a few young people that do a lot of drugs and they have children with all kinds of disabilities. Children born into families who genetically inherit such problems may be souls who choose to be born into this type of situation to resolve unfinished karma from when they themselves indulged in drugs or other types of addictions in past lives. So these children that are getting born into this, they're trying to pay off karma. So they come in with all these difficulties and stuff, and they're trying to work off that karma. So the next incarnation, they'll go up into these higher planes. So this is where karma is not understood. On the physical body, on the physical level, drugs and any addiction lower all the vibrations of the body. There are those who are genetically very strong and don't seem to be physically affected. For many, the brain and the emotional body are the most affected. Nevertheless, one must be aware of the person who indulges in recreational drugs for a long time and fails to fulfill their present life contract will most likely lose the privilege to have the strong, healthy body in the next incarnation. And you will all know how painful and agonizing this can be. You can never consciously or carelessly abuse your body in one incarnation and have the privilege of a healthy and strong body in the next one. Divine law requires that if you are given a strong, healthy body and you misuse it, the karma returns in the next life. That is why you have children born with all sorts of health problems, and you wonder why that is. What did they do to deserve it? Well, on the human level, you can never judge because you don't know the whole story. Even if you were to look at the astrological or Akashic records, the human conscious can only perceive a small portion of the whole picture. That's why it's so hard to judge things. And everybody has their own belief. I don't tell anybody what to do. I know what I do, and I choose to live the way I choose to. In general, people trapped in addictive tendencies tend to not feed their bodies what they need to remain in balance and vitality. These types of imbalances created in the body are not conducive to motivating addictions to change their ways. They are malnourished, to say the least, not feeding their bodies properly and regularly as part of the self-hatred and denial syndrome of these engaging in addictions. This means that they do not value themselves as divine beings and they do not value their opportunity for this life either. The body needs to be replenished several times a day with natural and nutritious food that will carry as much life force as possible. Junk food diets in the form of fast foods that are completely devoid of nutrition have been the main diet of the great majority of drug users. On the etheric body, etheric drugs tear down much of the protective sheath of the soul. Known as a subtle body, it can take a person who has indulged severely in one lifetime in the constant use of marijuana, LSD, and other similar recreational drugs up to 3 to 5 lifetimes. So these really heavy drug abusers right now, they got to reincarnate up to 3 to 5 lifetimes before they finally can correct it and go back up into what they were meant to be. They got to suffer a lot of crap in those lifetimes. At this time, because of divine grace being offered to all humanity by your Heavenly Father, there is still time for all to let go of addictions and begin spiritual, emotional, and physical cleansing. Because you got to cleanse everything. You got to sit in your emotions. You got to look at it. You got to understand why. Why did you do all of this? And that's why I say you got to figure it out and make your choices. You can change this. Anybody can. It's your choice. You can teach it to the children and make them dysfunctional, or you can go, wow, I'm going to stop it. I'm going to start bringing in this light and going inside and bringing all this to the surface. By divine grace, all can receive the great healing. But if the soul happens to leave this incarnation before the healing takes place, many may take that damage back with them into the next incarnation with a consequence and without the full awareness of why they have the problem that manifested in their physical bodies. Ariel, how is the auric field affected? Adma, from our perspective, we look at the person who is a child of love, light, and innocence. The auric field demonstrates a beautiful emanation of all the colors of love. The 7 rays, rainbows of ray and golden light, It radiates out in different intensities and tones, and the auric field shows beautiful geometric patterns of color and light vibration. And it is so because of the beautiful color of God have their counterparts in the full spectrum of the rainbow. When you look at the auric field of a user of marijuana or other drugs, you see a distorted pattern of red tones of anger and vile green tones, not representing harmony and love. There are also a lot of black and brown squishy spots around the aura. More often than not, the beatific, original geometric auric patterns can no longer be seen. It is muddy. That's why natives we say we muddy ourselves when we drink and do drugs. It is muddy in tone as the colors are very distorted. And you would also see clusters of entities, almost like a coiling serpent of smoke that wrap itself around every part of the body. The solar plex and the heart become congested with these entities and their lower frequency energies. The etheric body and the auric field of the user of the recreational drug is not a very pretty sight to see. If you could show drug users their auric field as compared to the ones we described above, they would be so shocked that probably 90% or more would quit drug use on the spot. Ariel. Our DNA is now mutating back to the original 12-strand light bodies and beyond as the Earth prepares to go into her ascension frequency. How does this new stage of human evolution we are entering into affect people who are using these drugs? Adama. Unfortunately, they are not mutating in a positive way. The use of drugs prevent the use of drugs prevent a completely positive mutation because the main factor in the cellular mutation is the love vibration and the effort the person makes in raising their vibration. How do you expect to raise your vibration while you're creating, feeding, and entertaining legions of negative entities? Drug users constantly lower their vibrations in order to maintain the cycle of feeding their entities, which, when one thinks about it, is really an act of self-hatred. That's why you have to love yourself. You can't hate yourself. The low level of vibration users maintain is not conducive to the raising of their love and light frequencies, those inhabiting the mutations of DNA into their higher states of evolution. Your sustained love and light quotient is the determining factor of your DNA natural and atomic activation. This activation has little to do with paying someone to do DNA activations. And that's why you can't go to somebody and expect them through Reiki and that to activate and turn you into masters and that. Like I say, this comes through the universe. Wow, thank you, Miranda, for saying you see a yellow golden aura around me. Because I want all of you guys to get this. I want all of you guys to heal and change this. You have a time. This is where you need to start meditating and allowing this light and everything to come in to do all these things. Very cool, man. Starting to love yourself, it's important. So the low level of vibration user maintain is not conducive to the rising of their love light frequency that is inhabiting the mutations of their DNA into higher states of evolution. Your sustained love and light quotient is a determining factor of the DNA natural and automatic activations because they can automatically activate and change, spontaneously heal, do all kinds of things. This activation has little to do with paying someone to do DNA activations, which very often represent ceremonies of initiation. And like I say, it's already inside you. Unless the love and light frequency is increased and maintained by the receiver, not much can be accomplished. The activation of your light body is determined and accelerated by the amount of love and light you are able to maintain on a day-to-day basis. That's why every day I ask for the light to come in. Every day I ask. Even when I go to sleep at night in the day, constantly asking. The activation of your body light is determined by the accelerated by the amount of love and light you are able to maintain on a day-to-day basis. This includes self-love, the love of your body, the love of your incarnation, the purpose, as well as all other types of love. And love is all kinds of things. And you have to start, and you can't hate your childhood, your when you were a baby, when you were a kid, when you're a teenager. You can't hate anything. You got to love yourself for everything. You can't hate your parents, whatever. Somewhere you'll understand that in a really big way. Ariel, does the legality of marijuana in certain places affect the vibration? For example, is there a fear consciousness associated with legality? Adama, yes, definitely. Marijuana, the plant itself, possesses some positive applications if and when properly utilized. It is the question of letting go of the fear and addiction and putting each thing in its right perspective. That's where it can be a medicine, it can be something really good. And you have to let the universe know so it can help you to understand. The marijuana is what you call the variety of the hemp plant. Your authorities have made it illegal, and it is also a fear of things for them. The hemp plant could be used in many positive ways for the benefit of man. Instead, it is used in a negative way and an attempt to regress the soul's evolution of an entire generation. The fact that it is legal is creating a greater interest or special attraction for the youth and with many adults as well. But the children who are now born, a lot of them will never drink or do drugs. I know lots of little kids, and I've seen them, and when they're adults, they will never ever touch drugs or booze or anything, and in the future, they're going to wipe out all of that. They're going to get rid of it because they know it's not a good thing. Although the legality is creating fear, it is also feeding the fear consciousness entities within the self and on the planet. For many who live with a lot of fear issues in their consciousness, doing something fearful creates a stimulus in the energy centers of the body, thus stimulating the energy of fear entities within the self and creating a false illusion of mental and emotional thrill. And that's why I say a lot of people are addicted to that. A lot of people are really, really addicted to being in fear and paranoia and stress and everything because these entities are in them and it's in their family, in their genetics and that. And you try to come out of this and then it blows you back in. Oh, I need money. Oh, I'm scared. I'm going to lose everything. And you go right back into that fear and paranoia. And then these entities come in with their big straws and you're like a juice box and they're just sucking and you're just getting more and more paranoid and scared. And then you go into fears and every kind of craziness and they just spin you out. And you got to go, I am tired of this. I'm ending this. I'm stopping it. I'm changing this. I've been this way since I was 5 years old. I'm tired of myself. I'm going to kick myself in the ass and put a stop to this. That's why I say I got to clean up my shit. I always say I have to clean whatever I need to for me. For many who live with a lot of fear issues, there's unconscious. Doing something fearful creates stimulus in the energy centers of the body, thus stimulating the energy of the fear entity within self, creating a false illusion of mental and emotional thrill. And it's like a heroin drug. You can't see it, but you're always doing it. And you got to sit and go, wow, here I am again. Am I ever going to stop and change this? Understand that drug entities feed themselves by the vibration of the altered plants. The fear entities are all fed and energized by fear energy. Being in fear and creating fear vibration has also become a form of addiction for a greater percentage of people. Why do you think so many people enjoy horror movies and violent movies? Why do you think these types of attractions are so popular? The main reason is that the emotions created by watching those scenes feed the fear entities that are running the internal programming of those watching and enjoying the stimulation sensations. Those who have not made peace with their heart and their divine presence have not yet understood the true meaning of love and peace. On this planet, the great majority of people are programmed to be emotionally activated by fear. This is part of an old programming that now needs to be resolved by everyone committed to enlightenment. In the new world that the planet and humanity are traveling to, At this time in consciousness and evolution, there will be no room for such vibration. And if you want to carry that and play it, take that fiddle with you to the wheel of karma and spend a few more thousand years playing that broken old fiddle. Or decide to go inside and say, I'm not looking for anybody to fix me anymore. I'm not broken. I'm going to stop it. On this planet, the great majority of people are programmed to be emotionally activated by fear. This is a part of the old program that now needs to be resolved, and everyone committed to enlightenment. That's why you got to focus on the light. If you don't want to focus on the light, then you want to stay afraid. In the new world that the planet and humanity are traveling at this time in consciousness and evolution, there will be no room for such vibration. Those still choosing to carry these vibrations with themselves will be held back and denied entrance until their lessons are learned. The fifth dimensional conscious will not accept this kind of baggage from anyone. And that is a law of the universe. That's the way it works. So making drugs illegal doesn't resolve the problem much. Those determined to use the drugs find a way of getting it anyways because it is so easily available. The clandestine way recreational drugs are marketed, and the fact that they are illegal encourages users to become deceitful and dishonest towards themselves and others. It is not said in criticism or judgment of the authorities. They tackle the drug problem the best way they know how. The drug users form a habit of being secretive and suspicious and living a double life. This behavior is certainly not conducive to building a type of soul personality and human character that are needed for ascension and evolution into higher consciousness. And that's where heroin addicts in Holland, they're allowed to do heroin and work. They don't have to hide, they don't have to steal, they don't have to be criminals and that. And they're trying to evolve even though they're heroin addicts. But they're trying to change something, they're trying to do something different, where is in the rest of the world they're putting them in jail and punishing them and everything else. Drug users form a habit of being secretive and suspicious and living a double life. This behavior is certainly not conducive to building a type of soul personality and human character that are needed for ascension and evolution into higher conscious. A child of light and child of love and innocence cannot find anything to hide. Life on this planet is moving towards a consciousness of total knowingness and openness, where everything will be known and nothing will be hidden. Do you know that in the higher realms, no one can hide anything from anyone? That's what I say. People can see anything about you. You can't hide nothing. That's why I try not to shield or hide or do anything. Again, Joe Ruska, Telos, Book 2. I'm on page 44 if anybody has this book. So, child of light. So, life on this planet is moving toward consciousness of total knowingness and openness, where everything will be known and nothing will be hidden. Do you know that in the higher realms, no one can hide anything from anyone? And that's why I have psychic friends all over. And if somebody's doing something stupid to me, they see it. Sometimes a friend will send me a message. Why is this person doing this to you? Yes, Book 2 of Telos, page 44. To anyone else, because everything can be seen or known at all times through the auric field. That's why I say in your auric field, everything can be seen. You can't hide nothing. You go around any shaman, spiritual person, anybody with gifts, they can see and know everything about you. And I don't try to hide. I allow everything. I don't try to put up mirrors or do anything of the kind. Through your tone, your vibration, and colors that you emit, so you're always giving off these energies. We can see everything in the auric field of all the people on the surface of the earth who choose to gaze upon and in our own community of light as well. Very soon there will be no more secrets anywhere on the planet, and this is a truth. These gifts and abilities and energies coming in, you can't be lied to and deceived. That's why I'm like, connect to this stuff. Start becoming it. In my prayer on Sunday, I try to tell you this. Even the trees and the nature spirits and animals can easily read your heart, your intentions, your past, and your future. So even animals can see how bad you are, good you are, or whatever. See everything about you. If you are telepathic enough, or if you could speak, or if they could speak to you in the language you understand, you would be quite surprised at the wisdom and the knowledge of the animals. And that's why the natives know this and they connect with the animals, because the animals can teach, help you, heal, do all kinds of stuff. They know lots. This will soon change for most of you as you evolve. As humanity opens their heart to unconditional love and acceptance of others, this type of communication with all of life that all beings of enlightened civilizations enjoy constantly will open up for you as well, and you will enjoy tremendously this new magic. Never will you be afraid of anything anymore. You will know that peace was always there beneath your fear. And this is where people think they can try to erase their past or their Akashic records. You can't. Everything is going to be seen and understood. So, you might as well learn how to live correctly. My words may appear harsh for some of you or even exaggerated, but believe me, all I have described has become a reality for too many precious souls. And this is where I see all kinds and know all kinds of things. I don't worry about it. For sure, not all of those using marijuana will experience all the symptoms I have just described. But I did my best to show you the path that drug use is leading you to eventually, when an alignment with the incarnation purposes continue to be ignored. So when you know this and you keep ignoring it, that's where the karma comes in. But you can actually heal that. Everybody can now, but it's a choice in making the decision to do the work. Ariel, is there anything that people can do to heal themselves from the abuse of marijuana or similar types of substance? What healing tools can you recommend? Adama. Well, sweet ones, we wish we had a magic potion or a miracle answer for that. There are vibrational healing tools that are emerging that will be of significant use to healers and counselors in the coming years. And that's where there's these new machines that generate all kinds of sounds and energy that's going to help people to really heal and change. And that's why I want you to stay aware of technology and everything. Don't blow something off and create fear around it. These devices, some of which are already in limited use, accelerate the clearing and the rebuilding of the etheric body. And that's where smudging and that does a lot of stuff too if you do it right. In the hands of the practitioner who is aligned with the divine, they will assist greatly all who desire the process of purifying all old distorted energies. And you have to. You're going to somebody to be healed, you got to allow them to do this stuff, even if you don't understand it. They will also provide great assistance to all the children incarnating who are experiencing tremendous stress in your surface society. These children are not only relying on mind-altering substance that are illegal, but are also being fed such substance by doctors under the guise of treatment for ADHD syndrome and other mental diseases. That's why I say that's bullshit. You should never be giving children any kind of drugs for anything to alter their mind or anything at all. Very cool, Lucy. Become a hollow bone. Just ask the universe, Kimberly, when to connect. Wait patiently. Don't try to force it. Allow it to happen on its own. Yeah, as above, so below. Some people don't understand that. You got to explain to them in all kinds of levels so their mind can open up and realize and make these changes. I can go around for the rest of my life telling people, so above as below, so above. Never going to help them to understand what they need to do. That's why I'm reading these books to try to make people understand that these things are going to all happen. Hey, Sharon. It is unfortunate to witness that in so many countries that dark forces have swayed children born as the indigo because like I say they're part of the future but they're being labeled as ADHD and they're not. There's nothing wrong with them. Indigo and the violet souls into the attraction or to the addiction of these habit forming substances. So right from tiny little children they're giving this, trying to make them believe they're broken. There's nothing wrong with them. This sinister plan is designed to blind the soul and stop the wondrous contributions and wisdom they are meant to bring to this planet and for the enhancement of their own evolution as well. This is the trap too many of the youth of this world are falling into. Nearly all of those precious souls came here at this time of Earth's transition with the goal of accomplishing great missions. We know that the great percentage of these precious children will wake up in time, but for those who will not, the drug abuse and addiction will mark a descent of consciousness in their evolution and a major setback. So they'll have to do a lot of karmic shit. What will begin to make the greatest difference, though, is the right information and knowledge and of the truth. And that's why I say, get it in here. You better. Peer pressure has played a very negative influence in every society. It is the giving up of one's power and the value in order to avoid appearing different. Then people are scared to be different. Everybody. Always trying to find a way to make people happy to fit in. Everybody's an empath on this planet. People just don't want to understand it. So appearing different or feel accepted or other, I say to you, dare be different. It is a sign of maturity and sovereignty. That's why I've chose to stay different all my life. Somebody got pissed. No one as efficient as an ex-drug user to to convince others to stay clean. And that's why I used to drink in that, and I encourage people to quit, change. If I can do it, Cindy can do it, and others can do it. Anybody can do it. Without a doubt, the time is now at hand when incarnated souls on this planet are left to face the choices of getting off the pot or leaving their present incarnation for another sphere of evolution less evolved than here. You think this Earth is bad? There are worse places, man. You want to get put in another toilet that's even better than here? Make a good choice. And like I say, if the universe flushes you down and you go there, you're going to go, wow, man. And it's going to take a long time to get to this part where you are before you can go into the next stage. We hope that many, when faced with the final choice, will make the right choice. You live in a society evolving on the planet of free choice. Yes, where people can freely experience and experiment with their choices. Remember that all the choices you make from day to day and what intentions you hold in your heart and mind have significant consequences for you now and for your future. And that's why you got to figure this out now. And that's why I'm trying to give you all of this. You got to make a choice. I made my choice when I was 5 years old. When my granddad was training me as a little boy, I made my choices. And I've stuck with them all my life. We ask you to pray for these precious children for grace, and that's why I say, mothers, you better start realizing you got to teach and protect your children and not allow this silliness. We ask you to pray for these precious children for the grace of divine intervention. We ask those who will be reading this material or hearing about it to enfold the youth of the world in a whirlwind of love, of blue flame and violet flame, for their protection. So if you got children, pray they're wrapped in this blue and purple flame all the time, no matter where they go or what they do. Even when they go to sleep at night, go in their bedroom and say this prayer that they get wrapped in blue and purple night while they're dreaming, and that they're always protected by the higher universal energies, light and everything. We ask you also to ask for their protection by their archangels, so call in their guardian spirits and that to be with them. These are spiritual tools that are very, very important. If you know someone using drugs or teachers open to the concepts of higher consciousness, give them this information or give them as much as you think they can understand. Share your wisdom with them. Information and knowledge are some of the best tools to transform consciousness. You may not interfere with anybody's free will, but you may offer someone the gift of knowledge. It will allow that person to make an enlightened choice, perhaps for the first time. That's why I say I can give you all the knowledge. I can do this, but it's all you who will decide. I can't think for none of you. I can't make you choose or do anything.